Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to Adam's Fishing. I finally found somewhere where I wanted to stop the barrow and set my stuff up. It's a Friday afternoon at the very end of October. I've got an overnighter here, so I'm here for the whole night, which means I don't have to rush too much at the moment because it's only 20 to 3 in the afternoon. I've managed to get away from work a little bit early, which is brilliant, and I'm really excited to get set up with a chance of catching a slightly bigger fish if the carp gods are in my favour today, that is, of course. Something that is a bit weird today, speaking of carp gods, is that the sun is absolutely beating down on me. It is warm, like really warm. I don't need this on for sure. In fact, I'm going to take that off while I set up, otherwise I'll be dripping in sweat. It's way too hot for the end of October. Something has gone seriously amiss with the weather. The carp don't seem to mind. I've seen signs of carp down this end of the lake, right up in the shallows actually, but it's quite hard to set up there for an overnighter really. So I'm a little bit away from where I saw activity, but I know I'm probably down the right end of the lake rather than the deep end, which is all the way down there. So yeah, anyway, let's start getting things set up and ready to do a bit of fishing. All right, guys, hopefully you can see the swim behind me there. I can't see a great deal on the screen with these polarizing sunglasses on, but I do get a good view of the lake, which is great. My plan is to fish my left-hand rod out there, just a little bit this side shy of halfway across the lake, where I know there was a huge bed of lilies during the summer months. It has died back a bit, although I can still see one or two lilies up on the surface there. So I will need to have a little bit of a lead around just to make sure I'm not casting right into any you know, thick weed or lily stems and that kind of thing. But I have caught fish from there before. This is where I caught that 20 pounder. The biggest fish that I've caught in a long time was from this swim and was from that spot. So I'm definitely going to put one there. The other one, I'm thinking of making life a little bit easier for myself, a bit of an easier cast, because there is, you can't see it here, but there is a tree. In fact, if I do that, you might be able to see, there is a tree above me there, which may make that cast with the left hand rod a little bit of a challenge. So rather than trying to put 2 rods there, my right hand rod, I'm thinking of just fishing a couple of rod lengths out in front of me. There is, or was, another bed of pads off to my right hand side there, and I'll try and get near to where they were as well. I think I've got this sense that they still hold natural food for the fish even after they've started to die back, and certainly with having seen fish down this end of the lake, I think that's probably true. So yeah, that's the plan. Both fish to where beds of pads are / were. One off to my left hand side about halfway out, and one in a lot closer off to my right hand side there, and a bit of bait over the top and see what happens. First things first, I'm going to get some leads, have a little cast around, work out exactly where I'm going to be trying to cast those rigs. What an absolutely beautiful day. Unfortunately, it's so nice that I suspect a lot of people will be turning up, with it being a Friday evening and all. But at the moment, there's only a few other anglers on the lake, and this spot hopefully is not going to be interfered with too much. There is a swim opposite me, but it's got a really high bank, and people don't tend to fish it unless they absolutely have to, because the lake is rammed. So hopefully nobody will set up there and cast straight across into me. Yeah, it's a little bit enclosed here with some trees to the left hand side of me and some bushes to the right hand side of me, so you know, it almost feels like I've got the lake to myself at the moment, even though I know I haven't. Anyway, let's crack on. Well, just getting those rods ready has made me realise that I really should do a bit of gardening before I get started, because I can easily see myself getting tangled up again and again in the higher brambles over here. Just the really long ones that loop over the top of this little hedge here. I'm going to try and grab hold of them, and I've got a pocket knife in my tackle box, and just try and cut them back a little bit before I start fishing properly. It's now just gone 3 p.m. so it hasn't taken me too long to get to this stage. But yeah, I think I'm going to get those trimmed back just a little bit if I can before casting my first baits out. There we go then. I don't expect for a second that that's going to stop me snagging up in those brambles altogether, but I'm sure it will help. Right guys, it's high time I got some bait and some rigs ready to go. So for bait, it's a boilie approach as usual. In this case, the CC More Live system, which I've had some success on here, which is good. And what I'm going to do is use my little collapsible sort of waterproof bucket here. I'm going to take a load of those. Don't want to go too mad. I mean, it is October after all, although from the weather you'd think it was June or something. And then I'm going to take some of this liquid, manila flavoured liquid. Love the smell of this stuff. It's cloudy too, so puts a bit of cloud in the water around where the baits land, hopefully. I'm just going to pour that on top. Now what I should have done, of course, is soaked these for like 24 hours in a mixture of water and this sticky liquid stuff, but I didn't plan that far ahead, so this is going to have to do for now. So that's some baits sorted themselves out. Now for rigs, I've showed this in my last video, but in case you didn't see, what I'm doing these days, I found this old rig board from an old set that I had in the shed that I don't use, and I thought, wow, that would be a really good idea as a way of pre-preparing my snowman rigs, saving all of that finger and thumb fumbling on the bank and saving a bit of time too. So these snowman rigs are a 15mm CC More live system hard hook bait. This probably wouldn't work with an out of the bag boilie in this thing, because they'd probably just dry out and split. But the hard hook baits, they don't degrade. And on top of there is a little 12mm white manila pop-up. I've got 5 rigs ready to rock. Wishful thinking, I know. But let's hope and pray to the carp gods that one of these puts a lovely big carp on the bank. Wouldn't that be brilliant? So before I fire out those rigs, I'm just going to cast out a bare lead on both rods and then catapult out a few pouches of boilies over each spot where that lead lands. Try and lay down a little bit of bait before I cast my rigs out on top. Not going to go too mad, but a few pouchfuls, I think, given how warm it's been, is the order of the day. Right, well, I've been faffing around for about an hour now. It's high time I actually cast some rigs out into the lake. I know this drives some of you mad. It takes me so long to actually get a bait in the water. But hey, that's just the way I do things. I'm a bit slow and methodical when it comes to setting up and packing down, for that matter. But hey, I'm here all night. Truth be told, I'm actually expecting, or more expecting, a bite as it starts to get dark than I am during this high sun period. But in any case, let's get the rigs out there, and then I can start setting up camp for the evening, which is going to be using actually my new bivvy, the Storm Cyprinus Typhoon Storm bivvy, which you would have seen in a previous video when I introduced it to you guys. I had a problem there where it broke, but that has since been repaired, courtesy of Cyprinus. So hopefully I won't have the same problem again with it. I think this is only the second time that I'm actually putting it up for a fishing session, as opposed to just putting it up in my garden as a tent for the kids. So yeah, it'd be nice to get some more use out of it, that's for sure. Anyway, these rigs, I digress again, it's taking even longer now. So there's my snowman rig. If you've watched previous videos, you would have seen it before. Just pop off the anti-tangle sleeve there, take one of my little mesh bags, helicopter going overhead, you might be able to hear, through a straight needle, pull it down and just ease the hook into the PVA bag there, so it's all nicely protected for the cast. So what I do now, slide the old anti-tangle sleeve back on. Now some of you have told me that I could do this without taking the anti-tangle sleeve off, and I have had a go, but it ended up being a big mess. So let me know any tips you've got for that might make that process a little bit more streamlined. But then I'm going to take some of this manila glug, really sticky stuff here, and what I would do is dip the whole thing in, but it doesn't quite fit. So what I tend to do is just press it up against the lid, or the neck I should say, of the bottle there, just upend it a couple of times, and there's a nice glugged up bait ready to cast out into the lake. Let's get it done. Both rods fishing. Well, once it's up, it's great, but man, that did take a lot of effort. I'm absolutely exhausted. I think I need to sleep. I'm going to put the bed chair inside, get a little bit more organised, and then watch the lake for a bit. Okay, I'm finally organised. I'm all set up inside the bivvy here. You can see over on this side I've got my tackle bags and my tackle box, and over on this side I've got my food bag, my drinking water, and over there my baits and stuff. Obviously I'm sat on the bed chair. Over here, as if putting up the bivvy itself wasn't hard enough, if I don't want condensation raining down on my head, I need to put on this skull wrap thing as well. So I'll do that a bit later. Honestly, I'm whacked, an absolutely sweaty mess, as you can see. I need a bit of a break. I'm going to get a drink of water and just chill and take in the atmosphere without working. It's now just gone 4 p.m. Absolutely nothing on the rods, nor have I seen anything out in the lake since that early fish rolled a little bit further down that I saw. But the night is young, as they say. There's every chance of a nice carp. I really hope I can get one of the nice ones today. Wouldn't that be brilliant? Gonna have a bit of a cook up later on. I brought some dinner items in cans, so that's going to be nice. I won't spoil the surprise. And yeah, just hopefully have a thoroughly chilled evening, interrupted occasionally by some lovely carp, if all goes well. Well, guys, I was just going to lay down and have a bit of a rest, but then I discovered something that I simply had to share with you, and it's this window here in the front of the bivvy. Now, I know that might not be too impressive to some people, but let me show you why I'm so pleased with it. In here is my bed chair, and there's my pillow. And if I bring the camera round to be just in front of said pillow and look through the window here, you can see with the window open, I can now see my alarms and I can see my bobbins. So any little bleeps, all I need to do is turn my head to the side and I can see what's going on. Brilliant. Well guys, it's now 20 past 5 and the sun is starting to dip down, and as you might expect from this time of year, the temperature has just dropped really quickly. So I've got my hoodie back on, and I've got a nice hot cup of coffee, and still no action out there, unfortunately. So I've been fishing for nearly a couple of hours now, I suppose. I think chap a little bit further down is spotting the life out of the lake at the moment. I can hear it splashing. But about 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago, a fish rolled right over my left-hand spot. I mean, literally where I was catapulting out those boilies. So that's quite exciting, and it's made me think that there might be fish starting to move into the area. Yeah, so I'm just going to have a last sip of this and then just nip out of the bivvy here, just to have a look and see what he's doing further down, because he's making a hell of a commotion. Thankfully, it might be driving the fish all up my way. No, nothing yet. Well, I've just been through that age-old debate of to cast or not to cast. That is the question indeed. Often we as carp anglers go through this dilemma, but just before it gets dark, and that is, do I leave things exactly as they are and just trust that they're presented well and the baits are available to the fish and just keep everything crossed? Or do you give yourself that little bit of extra confidence by putting a fresh rig on with a fresh mesh bag and recasting? I was really close this time to just leaving them, to be honest, because it was so peaceful. I didn't really want to disturb it, but in the end recast one out, and I actually ended up redoing both rods, recasting them, freshening them up with fresh baits, fresh hook baits that is, and fresh mesh PVA bags. Both cast really nicely actually, so I'm feeling quite happy with them for the rest of the night now. It's going to be dark soon, and I've just put out a few pouchfuls of boilies just to freshen things up, and I don't really think there's any more I can do at the moment, except for to kick back and wait. I was really hoping I could have got an early fish to take the pressure off me a little bit, but unfortunately it's not the case. So maybe during the hours of darkness I'll get lucky and I'll actually catch one. Keeping everything crossed anyway. Right. Looks like it's going to be dark pretty soon. I'm going to try and get a time lapse of the sun going down, and then I'm going to head into Bivvy Land, where I'm going to be cooking up some dinner soon. You're just catching the last shreds of light here, and I've just had an aborted take on my left hand rod. Bobbin pulled up, line was taken, alarm sounding, and then it just stopped. So the fish obviously dropped the bait, or the hook pulled before I even picked the rod up. That one's just been reset, and always a little bit more difficult to cast when you can't really see where it's landing, but I think it's back out in the zone, and all I can do is hope that it's presented well and that I get another opportunity. Frustrating, that could have been the one, but yeah, let's hope I get another chance. I've just remembered I haven't put that second skin on this thing yet, so I'm going to do that now. Don't know if it will come out on camera really, but I'm going to have a go. Get it put up and yeah, wait for another chance. Well guys, that's it. I'm officially night fishing again. It's proper dark out there. I did have a single beep on that left-hand rod after I'd recast it after that aborted take, but nothing else. So I just keep looking at it, hoping that it's gonna rip off and reward me with a fish. Who knows? Only time will tell. While I'm waiting though, time to get some dinner on the go, and it's proper chefy stuff today. New potatoes in a can, which I think are actually already cooked. I'm just heating them up basically, and as a little sauce to go with it, a can of chopped tomatoes. Not very exciting, I'll grant you, but I have also got in this little package here a couple of Slimming World friendly sausages. So it's going to be a kind of sausage tomato potato thing that I'm cooking up here. I almost don't want to start it because I'm sort of on tenterhooks waiting for a bite, but I think if I don't do it, I'm just going to go all night without eating, and I'm actually starting to feel quite peckish. So let's get it started. So I'm actually going to start with the sausages. It doesn't really matter too much if they cook and then start to cool down, I suppose, while the rest of it heats up. So they're going in my Ridge Monkey toaster thingy, and I just need to put them on a really low heat because otherwise they're just going to burn on the outside and not cook on the inside. So I'm just going to turn that flame right down and then let them sizzle away for a while before the tomatoes and potatoes. Just about done. Now I'm going to cut these up anyway to go in my sort of stew thing. It also gives me a chance to check to make sure they're cooked. Yeah, look good. Bit of an acquired taste, these Slimming World sausages, I must say. There we go. Right, I'm just going to put that to one side. And that. Get my saucepan. Potatoes first, I think. Right guys, I think you can see these are bubbling away now, so hopefully they're warmed through at least. I've chopped some of them up with a knife in the pan there just to make them a bit easier to eat when they go in my tomato sausage stew thing. So these need to be drained. So I'm going to do that just outside the TV door. And now I'm going to add some tomatoes. And then heat it all up together, I think. All right. There we go then, guys. I think that's just about ready to rock and roll. Can't beat a bit of hot food on the bank. Wish I had some salt and pepper, but I don't. But yeah, let's give one of these potatoes a try and just see if they're hot, or at the very least warm. Yep, that's hot. They're cooked. Time to eat. Here it is then, guys. My tomato, potato and sausage stew, I'll call it. And if I wasn't on the Slimming World thing, I'd probably be eating bacon sandwiches now, but this will do. Unfortunately, nothing happened with the rods whilst I was cooking. Usually it's a surefire way to trigger a bite, isn't it, to start doing something with a naked flame, just to make it ultra dangerous. But no, nothing happened. It's gone really, really still and quiet out there. Like earlier, I was hearing the odd fish roll or jump out, but since it's been like fully dark, there's not been a whisper, and it is really quite pitch black out there now. I don't think there's much of a moon, or if there is, there's some cloud cover. We're due some rain in the night and in the morning, so unfortunately I think I'm going to be packing up in the rain, which is horrible. I can't stay late tomorrow. I've got to get back because my wife's going to work. So I've got dad care duties, but that's okay. I've still got the whole night, and it could still happen. Even if it doesn't, it's really cool to be out here, just spending a little bit of time on my own. And I know that sounds a little bit sad and perhaps a little bit selfish, but I think it's important to have some time on your own from time to time. I think us anglers need it a little bit more than most. So yeah, nice to be out here on my own, apart from a rather large rat which is stalking outside the bivvy at the moment. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Just really would be the cherry on top if I could catch a carp though. Now well, I'm going to finish this. Well guys, the sun has risen on a fishless morning, I'm sorry to say. It's been a bit of an endurance test. I've barely slept. It rained really quite heavily in the night. I'm absolutely shattered, and I don't have any fish to show for it. I don't know what's gone wrong. I think I haven't got something quite right today. I feel like I should have caught one. And apart from that one aborted take, I've just not had another chance. I'd like to be magnanimous in defeat, but the old spodfather a bit further down actually caught 2 in the night, so he's really shown me up. So this isn't the end. I'm going to be back, and I'm going to, by hook or by crook, catch a fish to hold up for you. For right now though, I need to get everything packed away, and I need to get myself off home. I'm all packed up and it's just started raining again, so it's about time, but it's not over. In the words of Arnie, I'll be back. Well, I said I'd be back, and I am. It's 1 week after that last session, which was an unfortunate blank. So it's a Friday again. I'm not here overnight this time. I'm only here until, I don't know, maybe midnight. I've managed to get a different swim. Not the guy who caught a couple last time. He's a little bit down through the guy who's doing the spotting. That obviously works, by the way. I must look into that. But yeah, just one swim over from where he was, and I've only gone and caught one. Rods are in the water for about an hour and a half, and then the left-hander just roared off, and I've landed a fish. Now, it's not a big one, unfortunately, but there's still time for a big one, because it's only just gone 20 past 6 in the evening, even though it's absolutely pitch black, as you can see here. So yeah, there's still time to maybe even catch another one. So it goes to show, doesn't it, you can fish all night and not even get a bite. You can fish for an hour and a half and catch one. That's just the way it is. That's fishing, I suppose. But my goodness, am I glad I came back this evening. Complete change in the weather, insofar as it's really cold now. You can probably see my breath there. The temperature has really dipped, so I was actually quite surprised to get that bite that I've had. But yeah, finally I've done it. It goes to show, if at first you don't succeed, try again, and I've actually managed to catch one. So I'll get it's in the net at the moment, but I'll get that one out and show you in just a sec, and then get everything reset. And I've still got another good few hours here, and you never know. I've caught one. I could maybe even catch another one. There we go then, guys. Not quite the monster of the deep that I'd hoped for from this place, but I've settled the score and I've finally put a carp on the mat. Amazing to catch this one. He's only just 8 pounds, so really quite a small one for this lake, but a lovely capture nonetheless, and certainly got my heart racing. Got a lovely scale pattern on this one, and I think it's going to be a one to watch in the future as it grows. Absolutely magic. It's freezing this week, completely different to last week. This fish is ice cold in my hands, so I don't think I'll keep her out any longer. Get her slipped back, see if I can't catch another one. Absolutely brilliant. Well, I'm back in the car, and that means it's the end of this session. It's nearly midnight now. I'm absolutely shattered. And for the longest time, not a lot else happened, to be honest, until about 40 minutes ago, my right hand rod went into meltdown and I connected to a fish, which I'm going to say felt quite a bit bigger than that first little 8 pounder that I managed to land. Although we always say that when they get off, don't they? Because that's what happened. It got off. It kited hard to my right, felt like a heavy fish. And it ended up in quite close to the bank on my right hand side, where there's a little bit of overgrowth and stuff. I felt the line grate for just a second and then ping, nothing at all. Reeled in and got my rig back and everything. So I don't know how fish manage to do it. They are amazing, aren't they? But if they can get their head near a snag of any description, they can get rid of a hook. And yeah, my heart sank, and I feel a little bit wounded about that one. But hey, I caught one. It's not a big one, unfortunately. I know it could have easily been twice that size from this lake. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, and at least I managed to put a carp on the mat, and one to hold up for you guys for this video as well. That's probably going to be it for this video then, so I'm going to sign off and say thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all your comments and likes, I really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you again really soon. James and I are planning to try our hands at a little bit of pike fishing on the quiet lake at some stage, so hopefully I can upload a video and show you a bit of that, maybe even catch a pike. All right guys, thanks very much, see you soon.